Just before we jump into the video, I'd like to apologize for the horrible quality. Was changing some stuff in OBS and it made the quality really bad, so looking into it now for the next episode. Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video where today we will be looking at some sugarcane farms. So, it's been a while since I made a redstone video, so for those that are new to the channel, I look at some old designs, I look at some newer designs, and I then make my own using all of these. So, let's jump right into it. So, just some background information. Sugarcane grows about 1 block every 20 minutes. So, this here is 3 blocks. You got one, I want to punch it without punching it. You got 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So one of these will grow about every 20 minutes. So it's been 20 minutes. Another. Been 20 minutes. Another one. Of course, this is still like random tick based, so roughly. It'll take between roughly like 15 and 25 minutes for 1 block to grow. But anyway, here you can see 3 different designs. These were the 2 that I originally came up with, and I thought of this one about 5 seconds ago. So, just looking at them sort of from like worst to best. Firstly, you got this one, which I kind of just broke. Also, the tick rate's high, which is why, yeah, that just happened. Why the water just spread instantly. So here, you've got 7 bits of sugarcane for 2, so you got 3.5 bits of sugarcane for 2 water sources. A bit expensive, really. A bit of a waste of space. What you can do, and what I should have done, is I could have made it so that it's more like this. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, water there, 1, 2, 3, 4. That way there's no water overlap. Wrong one. So then we move over to here. So this, if you were to continue this design going, would be roughly 3.5 sugarcane per water source. Then we come over here, and after saying that number I realize that this is actually the worst one. So as you can see, there's actually only 2 sugarcane per water source. So you got water source 1, 2. Water source 1, 2. This goes all the way down. This is 16 sugarcane, 2 strips of 8, with a strip of 8 water in the middle. What I would do, what I could do, is I could have sugarcane going here. But that would mean extending the border, which if I was doing that, then I might as well just do this. Might as well just do that and get an extra 2 instead of an extra 1. So then let's move on to our best design, which looks a little confusing. So this one is about 2 for every water source, and this one is averaging around 3 as well. So that one is actually the better one on this scale. I'm pretty sure, while these 2 sort of go upwards, like on a steep linear scale, this one will go upwards on like a shallow. I feel like shallow is the wrong word. Anyway, over here, you can see that we've got these glass blocks. These are dead spaces that aren't water sources. So theoretically, I could put these, even though that's actually not a dead space, so ignore me. So, you can see here that it's a bit of a funky pattern. You've got a water source here and a couple of sugarcane, but you've also got one here. And what this does is means that we can have a bit more sugarcane. So in this design, there's actually 17 sugarcane. Only one more than that, but I'll prove my information betterly, English, in a second. But yeah. So this, as you can see, this is a neat thing. The only thing that's not neat is that we've got a block sticking out. But you would typically have this there anyway, because otherwise it just looks like this. Whereas over here we've got, we've got 2 water sources out. But the difference is, if I was to design this so that it would still fit in this shape and have the water sources in, then it would actually end up having 18 or 19, because I did it in my other testing world to prove before, like, to prove my facts. But anyway, now we can see that this is the best design out of these three. Well, no, not including that one, because recording it right now, I'm like, maybe this one could have been better. Anyway, moving on to our first design. So, this here is our first design. It's pretty basic. Some of you might have seen it before. This is not my own design. So, what happens is, you can, if I just see this here, let's go /tick rate 5, just so you can see. Place that down, it observes it, and triggers all these pistons. Just see again, shoots it out. But here you can also see the main issue with this. It's very lossful. Just in that, we lost 2. But what happens here is this is a good design because it means that you can have all of these grown up like so. Then one of them there grows up, and boom. But you can see we got 3 for that one. Oh, 5. I think one of those might have already been there. But here, I'll just let you copy this down from here. You've got an observer that's facing, that its back is facing out. So like where it sort of like poops out, the little signal is facing the back. Where it's on redstone, which is on a solid block. This can't be on glass or slabs, it needs to be a solid block. So for example, slime is a solid block, but honey is not. And then we've just got a normal piston on the front. I've used sand here. You can use variations of dirt, so you can use podzol, dirt, I'm pretty sure coarse dirt, and grass. You cannot use mycelium, and we've just got a track running along into where you would have a little storage thing. This produces around 15.6 sugarcane an hour. But if we move swiftly over to this one, you can say that this is just this duplicated and raised one. So this works exactly the same. See how this is grown up, you place this down, and it shoots off. The only issue with this one, there's a lone sugarcane over here. So redstone has a maximum strength of 15. So when we power this, hopefully you'll be able to see, yeah, right there, oh, I'm blocking it. Right here, it lights up as 15. So if I just, boom, boom, lights up as 15. Issue is this is 16 blocks long. So, if I just slow it down to 1 tick per second, you can see it doesn't quite reach the end. So, that's the main issue with this farm, as well as it also being as lossful as that farm. But, if you're low on resources, it still gives you roughly 38.3 sugarcane an hour. And here it's the exact same design. So you got a little poopy area for the redstone signal at the back, redstone on a solid block into a piston, exact same as everything we saw before. The only difference is you can build this all on the same height. I'll show you a trick for that later. But yes, the only difference here is this drop. But you can build it all on the same height. So as you can see here, this little trick means that items can flow right underneath, as well as if they get dropped from above. So if we look at this one, it's a bit better. If they get dropped from above, they'll also keep flowing. So if we apply this over here, we'll be able to see that if you were to drop this down, you'd be able to use the exact same thing, just have the track running along, and if need be, you can have a slab, and in that case, I have signs as well. You can just glimpse a sign there, you can't glimpse any here, and that way you can keep the water flowing, and it might make it a little bit more lossless, and you'll get more bang for your buck. So now, let's first look at a couple of components that we used in the next 2 builds. So here we can see a jumble of redstone, but this jumble of redstone is actually a timer. So you've seen etho hopper clocks and all that stuff in the past, different like pulse extenders, but this is something that was designed by Il Mango, and it can last for 15, no, pretty sure it's either a 30-minute timer or a 1 hour long timer, so it's pretty good. So what happens is I flick this lever, so this observer here is tracking this with leaves, you can see over here where it says distance, it can track how far away a log is, and observers can detect that. And this observer here is also detecting that, which is powering this, which is updating that, which is updating this piston, which is, if I just get this dispenser, which is facing into it, which creates a 1 tick pulse for this piston, which shoots it out and starts the cycle anew. This observer, however, is facing into a dropper, which had a stack and 32 items in it. The fancy thing about this is that this all happens within 5 ticks. So this happens roughly every second at the moment, because because you can see if I go / tick rate, current ticks per second is 5. So this is happening about once every second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm counting a bit too fast, but yeah. Whereas a hopper can only take items, can only pass items through every 6 ticks. So this dropper is dispensing an item into the chest every 5 ticks, and 1 item is getting taken out every 6 ticks. So ever so slowly, it'll get updated. So what we're doing here is this is also powered, and you can take an output from it. When this becomes depowered, for ever so brief of a second, it updates this observer, this piston, which then pushes it across into there, where it will stay until the hopper has nothing in it, and the same thing happens. So if I just go / tick rate 500, you can see that the items are slowly trickling up. You can see that they're going ever so slowly. Now they're at 10, flicking to 11, flicking to 12, flicking to 13. All while there's always an item in there, and items are constantly flowing out of there. And then, I'll slow this down again. There we go. I'm going to take those items out. Should be able to see in a second. Boom. So it gets pushed across. And the whole thing resets. And when the whole thing resets, that depowers. And then the system starts anew. Very clever design by Ilmango. If I remember, I'll have it linked in the description. It's a very smart design. Off to the next component used. So, here you can see a bunch of slime and observers. This is a flying machine, and it's what we use to destroy. Oh, it's here, that's why I couldn't see it. It's what we use to destroy all the sugarcane that's been grown. So, all we need to do is update this one. Update this one. I forgot they're on 5 ticks per second. And it just flies across until it reaches the other end. And here we're just going to place this. Reaches the other end, and we just update that one, and it flies back. So that's what we've used to track, well, not to track, to just receive updates. So now on to our first major design. So this design here was sort of designed by Nemba. I'll also have his video linked in the description. I meant to land on the leaves. And by sort of, I mean that while it was designed, I didn't follow a tutorial. I don't think he did a tutorial, but I didn't use a world download or anything. This is sort of my take on his design. So we've got the sugarcane here in rows. So we've got 1, then water with leaves and sea lanterns. Well, we've got sea lanterns under the water and leaves on top. And we've got 2, because that way you can sort of harvest the most in this. So that water source, it's like that design over there. This water source here has got 2 bits of sugarcane per water source. So what we have happen is, if I just drop this down, here we have the clock I was telling you about over there. Oh, yep, I was telling you about over there. And what happens is when this becomes depowered, I've now got it hooked up to, I've got a lever to turn it on and off. This becomes depowered for a split second, but for that split second, it turns this torch on, which pushes this redstone block across, to which 48 items trickle into there, which means that until the 48 items leave here, so they have to come in and leave, so in the time that the first item hits this hopper to when it leaves again, these hopper minecarts are activated, meaning that they just go backwards and forwards collecting all the sugarcane that is required. And when this becomes depowered, as it repowers this, that depowers this, then here we've got like a pulse lengthener shortener thing, which pretty much does is it shortens the length of the pulse, so it's a shortener. Which runs along here into the flying machine, where we've got a piston. This can be anything, so like a fed skate, or I originally had a trapdoor, but it was updating too fast and breaking the flying machine. Here we've got a piston that flies across, and at the other end we have got the trapdoor, but it works on this end because it hasn't got a tiny pulse. And we've got two of these flying machines, and they both, like this one down here, have glass on the end, and that's because they're rubbing against. They have an opportunity to rub against each other, and if they were to rub against each other, then because this at the moment is 12. This is 12 blocks. Yeah. So then you've got your other flying machine running along here, which is also fully 12 blocks, or like completely hauling 12 blocks. So if they were to connect here, it's fine, because nothing happens. But now they're trying to carry 24 blocks, which is too much. So we've got that for here. And then when the hopper minecarts get back, they run into this system here, which I have a bit better design for, which will be shown in the tutorial at the end of the video. Yeah, the items fall into the dispenser activates that, and then they drop into here, which is where you would then have your storage system. This, in all its glory, produces 1,354 sugarcane per hour. And last I tested it, I'm actually pretty sure I got 1,500 an hour. So, and obviously, like, the more you test it, like, the longer you test it for, the better rate you'll get. And how I tested it is with the tick rate command. So I went tick rate 500 and counter. Oh, okay. And you go / carpet, hopper counters true. And that just means that anytime an item flows into there, if I just then go, okay, counter, oh, it actually gives the, oh, it shows the total thing for the world, yeah, I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, that's how I track it all, and it tells you how many per hour. So, anyway, / carpet. Now let's move on to our final design, my design. So, over here, we have the exact same sort of layout as that, just this time we've got the better design, as we saw, of that. And what I've done, I have actually tested it. There was a farm that I designed just to prove my theory of that even more, and I think it was 20 by 14 was the length and width. Both farms, both farms were the exact same. The only difference is how the sugarcane was laid out, and that one had only 180 sugarcane, and this one had 210 sugarcane, which sort of proved my theory that this one, on a grander scale, gets better. But on this end, you can see we've got the exact same flying machine return system, and this is all pretty much the exact same. Because yeah, all of this like connection stuff, this is all my design. Oh no, this is the one that was 1500. That one was more like 1400, that's right. But yeah, we've got the exact same thing. We've got the pulse shortener just right here though, because the flying machine's here as opposed to all the way around the side. It comes into the pulse lengthener. This one requires a bit more iron, because you've got about an extra half the amount of rails and minecarts than you did with that design. But yeah, this is all the exact same. But yeah, and then this all flows into your storage system. So now, I think it's time for the tutorial, where we build this, just where I've made a lot of modifications. A lot of modifications that make it a lot more efficient and a lot better. Because see here, these, that doesn't spawn any, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 blocks. We're missing out on 16 bits of sugarcane every time we harvest this. Because these just can't grow. Well, unless they happen to grow up while the flying machine's out. So, let's start on the tutorial. So this is a list of everything you'll need. I will also have this list down in the description. Just some tweaks to the design of this. Every time there's a slab, can be any slab. Anytime there's a block, can be any block. The only difference is, so the packed ice can be blue ice. Can also be regular ice, just make sure you haven't got any torches lying around, or any light source. One of these dispensers can be a dropper, just to save your bow. And this glass can be any type of glass. Polished Deepslate and stone can be any block you like, as long as it's a full block. And the sand, as said before, can be any sugarcane placeable block. Same with the stone slabs, any slab, and oak leaves can be any leaves. Now let's get into the build, where we're starting off with the storage system, which that doesn't have. So you can make this whatever size you like. I'm just going to start off with 4 high by 6 across. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we take this 4 high. So 1, 2, 3, 4. For these you'll want to be shifting and clicking on the face, or on the side that you want to connect. With these, what you don't want to do is hold shift in place here, because otherwise you'll create 2 single chests. Just want to place them like so. Once you've done this, you want to come around the back and place, you want to place hoppers on each face. Once you've done, and yep, so you've now placed the hopper on pointing into the back. Make sure that this little tail thing is pointed into the back of the, into the side technically of the chest. And then you want to come to the top, so you just want to grab some dirt or some scaffolding, just any scaffolding block. Come to the top, and again holding shift, place 1 on top along here. Now, what you want to do is get some glass panes and run glass panes right the way across with a chest at the end. So just place a chest there. Then you want to place ice. As I said before, it can be any ice you'd like. Also, this whole system here wasn't included in the material list, so just need to add this on, but you can make this however you like. You can if you want. If you don't like these, if you want to just use some iron, you can just have a trail, not like that, a trail like this coming out of the system. That's just a bit slower, and as this design we're building, that design by the way, is fairly efficient, we like efficient designs. So you want to place ice up against every block here, and then 1 more in front of where the chest is. Then you want to place 2 like along from the chest, and then place how many? 20 excluding this block. So well, it's 21 including. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. You want to get some glass. You just want to place a dirt block there, place glass along the sides like so, raise it up by 1, so you've now got a two high layer of glass, and wrap it around the entire thing. So now it should look a little bit like this. So you've got this main strip here, this main 21 block strip of ice here, covered in 2 high glass. Get to the end, the glass follows it. Alternatively, well not alternatively, you can also place glass along the front there, just to make it so all neat and match up, but that is not a necessary requirement. Now, what we're going to do is not place the water in yet, but rather we're going to get some dispensers. Actually, these can also be droppers, so you don't actually need to spend any string on this farm. You can just use droppers if you want. If you've got an amazing string farm, then yeah, either one works. So we want some sticky pistons and some observers. So what we're going to be doing is you want to come along. What you want to do, I'm just remembering how I did this first time, is you get some dirt. What you want to do, sticky piston up against this block here. So I'll just build the first module. So you want a comparator on top of the glass, pointing towards the ice, or like the section with 2 lights, 2 redstone torches facing towards the ice, with a sticky piston. Then you want to get a bit of dirt and place it at the back, to which you're going to place an observer there. Then you're going to jump across here and shift and place an observer on top of the comparator. Now what we're going to do is we're going to build this dirt thing across 19 more blocks, so it'll be a total of 20. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18, 19, 20. You can see that it should stop 1 short of where you've built the ice, making sure that you start right where the ice is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go along and place down 19 more sticky pistons. These need to be sticky pistons. And then coming onto our little dirt path and placing observers, making sure that the observers are all facing the same way, and that way is so, like with the small sugarcane designs out there, the little poopy bit, little like red dot, is facing towards you. Once you've placed all 20 in, you can now remove your dirt scaffolding block, and then you can come around the front and place down all your observers, or your comparators, sorry. Now, you've sort of got 2 options for how you can place these observers. So A, you can either, if you're using Tweakaroo mod, you can just hold down whatever it is to place blocks adjacent and do that. Or if you don't have that, you can shift, because if you don't shift and try, turning everything off. If you don't shift and try and place, you're just going to turn it into subtract mode. So what you want to do is you want to shift and click on the top. Anywhere on the top, doesn't matter. Or you can also just click on the side. For this you don't need to be shifting, it's just probably safe to shift because you're on a 1 wide block. But you can just place these going all the way across. So now you should see that all the observers at the back, their face are looking at you, and all the observers in the front, their little red poopy butt thing, redstone bit, is looking at you. Now you want to get your droppers, and actually this is where we see if it works with droppers. Let's just test. Yes, it does work with droppers. So I used dispensers in my first design for no reason at all. So now with these, there are another 3 options. You can either so you want to get down into the ice track. You can either shift and click on the side, shift and click on the comparator, or use Tweakaroo to just hold down whatever your button is. I use X to place it above you. You want them all to be facing down, otherwise it won't work. A good way to tell that they're all facing you is that they've got a big massive gaping mouth pointed in your direction. Now you want to get some water some slabs. These can be any slabs, but I'm going to use stone. And signs. I'm also going to use any signs. Choice is up. I'm going to use oak signs, but the choice is up to you. So, what you want to do is you want to place a water source in right at the very end. Come to where there's only one block of water. Like it's just like 1 pixel deep, and place a top slab with a sign at the back. And you want to place your water on top of the slab so that it should now look like this. You got your top slab with your water on top and your sign stopping it from going back towards the other one. Now you want to repeat that process. Top slab, sign, water. Now you can see that the water is sort of snaking its way around the corner. What you want to do here is place a sign and another bit of water. What this chest here is doing is making sure that items, when they come across, are pressed right up. Let me drop the tick rate. Ensures that when items go up against it, they're in line. Because otherwise, if they were just to go along anywhere, they wouldn't get picked up by the hoppers. Now, let's go get all my signs back. Or all my items back. So now, what we want to do is get the minecart track in place. But first, I just remembered something else. We need to figure out where the minecarts are going to put all their items. So over there, you can see that we've used 3 hoppers. We've got 1, 2, and 3. But the flaw with this is that whenever an item went into the dropper, this would shoot up and it would be powering this hopper, meaning items would just stack up in there and wouldn't get through, meaning that the pistons were constantly going up and down and it was going all over the place. So I realized that if you put it into the side and go up, up, and across, it works the exact same. Just using 1 extra hopper. So here, you want to repeat this on all sides. So you can do either option, both work, just one's more efficient. So if you haven't got a lot of iron, you might want to go 1, 2, 3. And if you don't really mind, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. So yep, place this all the way along, and I'll see you guys shortly. So now that you've placed, not that button. Now that you've placed all these in, you want to get any solid block. I'll be using polished Deepslate. You can use whatever your heart desires. What you want to do is you want to get any temporary block, place it anywhere along here, and then place your block on top, and then place it all the way along. Now with that out of the way, what you want to do is the size of this farm we're going to be building is 20 by 30. But you guys can build the farm any size you would like. It just would require more powered rails. That's all it would require. Well, and then it would require more powered rails, and sugarcane to plant. So pretty much you're just making it bigger. So and we're counting these two as well. So you got 1, 2. So you want to go add 28 more. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 28, 29, 30. So we've placed that. And now what we're going to do is fill it in. So we're going to make a little box by bringing this all the way across. I think that's 1 far. And then filling it in completely. So I'll see you guys once you've done that. Okay, so now that you've placed in all your blocks, you want to get a temporary block there, and place another block on top, and place this all the way along. And then you want to get a lever. Oh, yeah, you want to get a lever. You want to place them. You want to place 20 of them on this edge right along here. And then, going backwards, flicking them all down. or alternatively you can place them and flick them at the same time. Choice is up to you. But after you've done this, what we're going to do is we're going to find roughly the center point. So on this sort of farm, it doesn't really matter, you can just sort of pick wherever. On a large farm, you might need to make a more decisive pick. Then you just want to place another 20 levers, flicking these on. Alternatively, here you can use redstone blocks, just that is a fair bit more expensive unless you've got like a mega witch farm or something. But now you've done that, now you want to get your powered rails, your rails, and a minecart with a hopper. So what you're going to do is you want to get a rail, a powered rail, place it there, then a normal rail, and keep placing normal rails all the way along until you get to where your lever is. Then you want to place that, place a powered rail, and then the rest, and then another powered rail at the end. So you should have 3 powered rails in total for this size of farm. Obviously this one here is a bit bigger. I've still only used one, and the one that I've used on An SMP, the one that I've built on An SMP, oh, that wasn't meant to happen, has I think 4 powered rails, because that is 3 chunks big. So what you want to do is you just want to place down all of these, keeping to the exact same pattern as you have before, filling in any gaps if you miss them, and I'll see you guys after you've done that. So now that you've placed down all of those, should look a little something like this. You've got 2 that are powered and a row that isn't. So now on the back here, you want to get another just the block like that, scaffolding block, and you want to place 2 blocks now. You get back up on top of here and place this all the way along as well, making sure you keep it 2 wide until it looks something a little like this. Then you want to get your repeaters and some redstone dust. Just want to place all these repeaters along like this, making sure they stay on 1 tick. Nothing wrong if they go to 2 ticks, just means that it will be a little bit slower and the minecarts might get a little bit out of sync. You place your redstone along the back like so, then you find the middle, which for this farm is pretty easy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and take a line out like that. I'm going to place down 2 repeaters and clicking them 3 times, 1, 2, 3, so that the movable redstone torch is right at the end. This means that they're on 4 ticks of delay. A redstone dust like that, coming 2 across, 1 back, 1 across, another 1 across, and 1 back. Then redstone dust on these 3, a repeater on 1 tick, bit of redstone dust, and a comparator. Next to the comparator, you want to place a block and another comparator. Then you want to get your composter and then place either a temporary block or use the tweakaroo trick that I mentioned before and get out any item that can be composted and click on it. Oh, I kind of need the cake. Click on it. It helps if you go to F3, and if you look up here where it says level over in this corner, you want to click on it until it says level 2. I'm using cakes because a cake is like 1 cake per level. Then you want to get another, then you want to get more blocks, place another comparator down, put it in subtract mode by right clicking it and making sure that this torch here is on. You want to get another block up there, which you can get by just shift clicking on the side of the comparator. You get a block, so it might have been smart just to place the block down, then a scaffolding block, then a block that's going to stay, another block that's going to stay, remove the scaffolding block, and place a bit of redstone dust, making sure that this redstone dust is on its little plus mode and not its dot mode. Then you want to get a piston. A normal piston will do. If you want to be a bit expensive, you can use a sticky piston. Actually, no, you can't use a sticky piston. That won't work. and then you just want to place it facing so that its back is pointing into the redstone. Now you want to make an etho hopper clock. For those of you that don't know how it works, you have two hoppers pointing into each other, and you want one of their backs to be into this comparator here. And you want to get a redstone block and place it on the side of this this hopper here, so the hopper that's furthest away from the piston. You then want to place down two temporary blocks, remove the middle one, place a piston so that it's facing into the redstone dust. You can get a fake block, a real block, place down a redstone dust, a block of dust, a block, then going up twice. So you've got a staircase, and placing 3 redstone dust on there. So you've now got 4 there, and it should all look like this. Now you want to come down to this hopper down here and put in 48 items, which is 3/4 of a stack. So if you right click, you'll split your stack in two. If you right click this stack, it'll split in two again, combine it with the first stack, and then chuck it in. That's our timer for how long the minecarts are being sent out for. And see here, this is a really perfect example. This lever hasn't been flicked, so you just want to come under here, and the reason why is there isn't a lever there. So now if we come back up, we'll see that all of these are powered. So now we're going to build the timer. So, I'm going to try and build it from memory. I'm getting pretty good at it. But you've got this block here. We're going to get a temporary block, place it on the side of the redstone dust, and another one on the side of that. Well, actually, no. I changed my mind. So you place down one temporary block, then you place a permanent block, remove the temporary block, and place down a redstone torch. So when this is powered, it means that the farm's working pretty much. We're just gonna get rid of the items, the redstone block for now. Then you want to place a block on top of the torch and another redstone torch there. Then you want to get a slab, any slab. I'm going to use a polished Deepslate slab. You just want to go underneath like so, and you want to get an observer so that its face is pointing upwards. And then you want to get a bit of redstone dust on the slab and a comparator on top of the observer. The comparator is facing into a dropper. This block here needs to be a dropper, because if it's not, then the farm won't function properly. On the side of this observer here, you want to place a block, and then your dropper facing upwards, then 2 chests, making a double chest, and then a hopper leading out of the chest into the dropper. Now dropping down here, you want to place a block underneath the, a block underneath the slab, then a sticky piston pointing into it, with an observer with its face pointing down this time. Its face pointing down. Then you want to get, yes, an observer with its face pointing into the contraption, like that. You want to get a note block and another dropper. So a note block there, dropper there, this can be facing any direction, it doesn't matter, and an observer facing into it. Here you want to place a sticky piston, as well as a log of any type. I'm going to use stripped oak because it kind of fits the theme nicely. And then you want to get 3 leaves. can be any leaves. I'm going to use oak leaves. You can see that it's now started a clock. Now we want to get a piston, placing it there with an observer, and then you want to get 2 blocks, place it up, remove the middle one, and place an observer so that its face is facing upwards, and then you place your comparator onto there. And that is how you build the system. Now you want to put 2 stacks and 32 of any item you would like in there. But first, I'm just going to turn this off. To turn it off, you just get any power source leading into this block, and it pushes that out of the way, stopping the signal from occurring, as well as permanently powering this no block, I'm pretty sure. That's when you then put your 2 stacks and 32 of dirt in. You'll also be able to see that the farm, this thing over here has stopped, so you can put your block of redstone back in, and you'll see that these items are trickling back in. Then here, you want to place a block, a temporary block against there, a permanent block there, and 1 redstone dust. Just trying to think of how it works. Yep. From that redstone dust, you want to place 1 on the side of it. You want to place 1 block. You want to come out 1 and 1 this way. There. Temporary block, permanent block. Remove the temporary block. You want to get your repeaters. One repeater there, 1 there, and 1 there. This is our sort of pulse shortener. And place a block like so. Go up 1, so 1, 2, and then make your way like this. So in that, this is me from the future, the farm's done. But in this one, we built this too low, so I had only stepped it up. What you're probably building right now is, I have fast place on. You've probably just built it like this. Without this, what you need to do is you need to step it up once more, like so. To do that, you just need to get your temporary block. So I'm just gonna grab grass block. You just need it. So you've placed this, that's all good. You place that one, like so, and then just follow the rest of the tutorial, and I'll show you how to build all this stuff. Like this. And placing redstone dust on top of these faces here. Getting a block of obsidian. And an observer with its face facing outwards. So we need to get temporary block, and a face like that. Here you want a repeater, redstone dust, and a piston. I have my piston facing upwards. You can have it either facing up, down. No, it can't face down. We can either face up, to the left, or to the right. It can't face down, forwards, or backwards, because otherwise if it faces forwards, it'll stuff up the flying machine. Down, it'll break the flying machine, and to the right, it'll break the redstone. But this is like the whole main redstone part. Now, I think I've built this in the wrong place. Actually, I think I accidentally built it in the right place. No, I did not. So, scrap what I was just saying, all of what I was just saying, and move it all back 1. So you want your obsidian there, place your 2 temporary blocks there, with your observer facing like that. You want to keep your temporary block there actually. Place your piston, repeater like so, and redstone dust. This is just because on this design over here, you can see it sticking out. So if we build this contraption 1 back, then yeah, we can build the whole, we can build the flying machine 1 back, meaning that these spaces aren't dead spaces. Now, let's move on to the flying machine and the actual farm. So, now we're going to get started on the actual farm. So, you want to grab your leaves and the block you're using. I'm using sand because I used, yeah. Sorry, I just messaged someone before recording, thinking they wouldn't respond, and they're just responding. Yes. I used grass for one of my earlier designs, and I got a lot of passive mob spawns. And you also want to get any solid light source. So you can, a solid block light source. So you've got sea lanterns, jack-o'-lanterns, which is what we'll be using because they're very cheap early game. What else is there? There's glowstone, as well as one other one which I can never remember. Shroom lights. Yes, shroom lights. I think there are a couple of others, but I don't know. So, what you want to do is you just want to place sand all the way across, placing them on top of all of the rails. So from this end all the way to that end. See once you've done that. So, now that you've placed in all that sand, what you want to do is you just want to come across this end with any block. You can either use the block that you've used below, or you can use oak leaves. Choice is up to you. Same with on this side. You also want to place in another layer of blocks. And then what you want to do is you want to come to this end and grab out your slabs. You want to count in 1 from the edge, destroy this, and place down your slab. And what you can do, so you're not actually, you want to remove this layer first, just to make life easy for you in the long run. Place your minecarts. I didn't realize when I'd done this. And you want to place minecarts on each block like this, like so. And then what you want to do is you might want to run this just so it can pick up any sand in case sand's valuable. If it's not, then never mind. So yep, so you want to do that. Then you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and place another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, place another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now you see in pattern 1, 2, and we've reached the end. Now what you want to do is you want to fill these in. We use slabs because they don't go underneath, and it wouldn't actually matter because if we remove the slab, you can see that in 1.17 water doesn't actually wash away rails. So now here, what you want to do is you want to come across 2 and down 1 in the same pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, break place. 1, 2, 3, 4, break place. 1, 2, 3, 4, break place. Filling these in. You just want to keep this pattern going, but you see here, if we go 1, 2 across, it's now a lot of space over here, so you want to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, break place. Until 2, 3, 4, you get something that looks like this. So, it should look like this, just I haven't completed it, because another way to do this, I just remembered, is you can, like we did at the start there, you can go, so starting from here, you can go 1, 2 across, and 1 down, break place. 1, 2, break place. 1, 2, break place. And this does the exact same thing. It means that it's less moving backwards and forwards and sort of more placey place. And what you want to do is you can just, so you know where each of these lines go, you just do the same thing. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, break place, 1, 2, 3, 4, break place, and then move along one line to this line here, and then just start it all over again. So, yep. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, break place, 1, 2, 3, 4, break place. And then from there you can go 1, 2, down, break place, 1, 2, down, break place. Might make it flow a little bit easier. See you in a second. So, now that you've placed it all in, it should now look like this. So what you want to do is I've started filling it in, but you can see I've got a leak out here, I've got a leak out there. So what you want to do to fix these leaks is grab, for this one you can grab anything, I'm just grabbing my leaves because the next layer will need to be leaves, and I just want it all to look the same. So I'm just going to come along here and place leaves going all the way around, but I'm just going to place it, but stopping here because there's no need for the leaves to then wrap around this way. It's just a waste of leaves. So again on this side, yeah, one there, and then just all the way along until you reach the end. So it should look a little something like this, where you now just want to fill in all these little dots with water. So now that your checkerboard has turned blue, you want to get out your sugarcane, and this may be the most time consuming part because you'll need sugarcane to grow, but what you want to do is just place down as much as you can, and afterwards I'll sort of show you what to do. So yep, you just want to get out your sugarcane and place it. Actually, before you place your sugarcane, might be best just to now, because what I've got here is I've got mini HUD, and this allows me to have this little overlay that shows me the light levels. So what you want to do is you can either use F3 and look up in this section here where it says light level block, so climb light, it says 15, sky 0 block. You want this number here to be above 7, which is why I use this, because it just tells me that it's 0. As soon as I place this down and I check again, you can see now that it says 14. So, very helpful. So you just want to run along. These blocks along here aren't that important because you're going to have leaves on top of them in a minute. So just coming around, making sure that all the sand is lit up. So you can be like conservative and only use like the bare minimum, or you can just sort of be like, yeah, screw it, and place down as many pumpkins as is necessary. Like you can, if you want, you can just fill in every blank water space, it's alright. And actually, I was wrong before when I said that you can use any light source you like. It does actually need to be jack-o'-lanterns because they do not stick to flying machines. If you use something else, it could stick to the flying machine and sort of stuff it around, which isn't exactly what we want. But now you can see that it's all, not all. Now you can see that it's all above light level 7, except for on the outsides. So now, what you want to do is grab out your sugarcane and start placing all your sugarcane in. But when you're placing your sugarcane in, you'll find along these edges that you just can't place any sugarcane. That's because there's no water source there. What I've done over there and in my survival on the SMP is I've just placed a bit of a leaf there, so I can tell that it's not a stuff up. But that isn't necessary. You can do whatever you like. I just do that as a bit of like a reminder, and that little water source thing will only happen on the outside. It shouldn't happen in the middle. If it does happen in the middle, then you've designed it wrong, because as you can see here, water source, water source, water source, water source. So it is always touching a water source unless it's been built incorrectly. So, say you're just building along and you find that you only made it to here. You're like, oh no, whatever will I do? I'm out of sugarcane. Guess I'm just going to go and have to build one of those designs. Well, I wouldn't do that, because what you can do is you can just come and build up the rest of the flying machine, build up the rest of the farm, and then let it farm the sugarcane for you this way, and then just slowly it'll farm all the sugarcane you'll need, and then you can just come on in and replace it. So we're just going to do that now. So you want to get your oak leaves out again, and you want to make it 4 high. So you want 1, 2, 3, 4, well 5 high, including this bottom layer down here. But that's because sugarcane can grow 3 high, I'm pretty sure. And the way we'll set up the timer is that all of them should be 2 high, and some of them will be 3 high, so even if they can grow up to 4, they won't. And it's just so if any decide to fly up, they can't really. So you want to go around placing all of these down, and when you get to the edge, you just go over the top of these blocks at the end here. So now that you've placed in all these leaves, now I'm going to come over here and remove some leaves. So if you don't need them, you can just break them. If you do need them, I'll shear them or use a silk touch hoe. If you want to remove this entire row, this entire second row along here, remove all of these. Yes. In that one, the base of the piston is okay. So we've stuffed something up, but it's an easy fix. So we just need to tear all this out. You want to build this up one higher. Get your obsidian. Get your dirt. Go 2 across. Observer. Then your repeater there. And redstone. And then on top of all that, you want your piston. Now, it's built to the right height. Which means you also want to clear out this hole here and this hole here. Now you want to get your slime blocks out. You want 20 slime blocks. So you want to place 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you want to place 10 back here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now that's the basic part of the flying machine done. Then you want to get a sticky piston. And you want to remove this slime block. Place the sticky piston there. And then replace it. And come to the other side. Place that there and replace it. Then you want to get an observer. Place one next to... I've built this the wrong way. Okay, sorry. 3. 3, 2, 1, cut. So for the flying machine, you want to place 10 slime blocks here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then a sticky piston. Then here, you want to place them 1 out and another 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You want to come up and over. And you just want to... why have I got the vibes that I built this wrong? Oh, yep, that's why. So I want to remove this slime block, place it there, and then replace it. I'm getting confused because I've never built it this way around before. It's okay, it can be built this way. So you then want to place one, observe it like that, with its face facing up, and one here, with its face facing up as well. So now, that's one part of the flying machine done. Then what you can do is, because at the moment all these items are going to come flying out the back, so what you can do is you can place any block. I'm using leaves because they look nice, well, because they fit everything else, but as I said, you can use any block. And you just want to place them all the way along here, just to catch, or just to stop a lot of the leaves from just flying out. Then you want to come to the other side, take note of where this observer is, go all the way along, and do the exact same thing. Well, not the exact same thing, sorry. So on this one, all you need is a block there, observer facing into it, with a bit of obsidian. You need your Redstone Repeater on 2 ticks, Redstone Dust, and here you can either have a piston or a trapdoor or anything of those sorts. And if you don't need all these leaves, then it's okay, because that'll just come through and break them. If you do, I suggest you mine out, I suggest you remove the leaves from here down to the end. But as you can see, just by removing this torch over here, you can see the flying machine hasn't worked, I think. Yes, there we go. You need to remove these 2 leaves on top as well, which we're going to do over here. You can see as it comes along. Oh, don't need to do that. It got sent back. So yep, you want 3 ticks of delay over here. So that was my bad. And if it breaks, You just want to remove those couple of blocks, then replace it like so. And you want to remove that one, get a sticky piston, place it against there, and then an observer, and place it against there. There we go. The 3 ticks just adds a little bit more delay to stop it from returning. Now if we remove this torch, we should see that it can return back as well. There we go, returned. And you just want to do that just to test it. I would put this back on 1 tick of delay, because otherwise it'll be too slow for this pulse shortener to actually recognize it. You get to this end, and get sent back. I don't know why it's doing that weird jittery thing, but oh well. And you want to just come back here, you want to place back this torch, so it doesn't just keep going back. Like so. Then you just want to come around the back here and place in these leaves. And that's that. So, and as I was saying, all you need to do now is run this, and it'll fly across and harvest what's left here, and then you just take that and fill in the entire farm. Like so. So, now let's test it. So we've got 2 stacks of items in there. Let's clear our inventory. We'll take 2 stacks and 24 out. And did we break it? We didn't break it. That's exciting. But we do need to update it. So, it'd help if we didn't take all the items out of the dropper. So now let's just wait for it to return. But you can hear minecarts are going backwards and forwards, which is what we like to hear. Now that that's been turned off, that'll be coming back and docking. And it did only have 8 more items left in there, so that when this came back, it would have stopped. Some items flew out, and to stop that you can just make this an extra one thicker, but that isn't necessary because not a lot of items will be getting caught. This is 8 items. Let's run this. See that we've already got 1. Now we've got 2. Ooh, almost 2. Now we're flashing 3. And I'll be back once it gets going. So, it's been sent off. It actually worked this time. You can see that this is working. These are running, though they won't be running for long because the system just reset itself. Oh no. Yeah, they'll be running. It's not dependent on the system. That's doing a whole weird thing. I don't know what it's doing down that end. Unless I've built it around the wrong way. I'm just going to double check that it doesn't really matter. I don't think it does, at least. Oh well. So that's how it works. And then after you've tested it, you just want to put all these items back in there. And you just got sent off again because there wasn't a lot of items. Yeah, and you just want to come through and make sure that once you've got enough, that you have placed all these items in. Just probably do it when the flying machine isn't running, because otherwise you'll get squished, and it'll just get in the way. But thanks for checking out the video. Hopefully the audio's worked this time. 3 times it hasn't worked now. There are 2 dead spaces there. That is not normal. But oh well. When has this thing ever been normal? Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I believe this worked. Yeah. And sorry, I just was going to end, but I want to test. And make sure that my theory was correct. That if an item goes into there, that I'll just keep going up and down anyway. But at least it won't get stuck in a weird loop type thing. Oh no, it is actually getting stopped. That's weird. Unless that it's firing faster than these can go in. But I don't think that solved the issue. Oh well. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you I just realised that I was ending the video just like Impulse does. I've been watching a lot of Impulse videos recently. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to click the like button, and make sure to subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out. Oh, and links in the description for videos and world download. Have a good one.